It's time for Picks Friday 5 coming up on College Football Smothered and Covered.
You are Locked On College Football Smothered and Covered with your host, Barrett Sallee. Your one-stop shop for everything college football. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome in. It's going to be a pick show. Friday 5 coming at you. We'll also predict future headlines, and we're going to debut a new segment called Get Over It. That is when I vent about something stupid in the world of college football. This show brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a three-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com for more information. Okay, it's time for Friday 5. This is when we make some picks. Now, Friday 5, not very good so far. So you can fade me if you want. In fact, I would suggest doing that. 6-9, not a nice record so far on Friday 5. But we are going to change that, and we're going to start with the Tennessee Volunteers. Lay the 7 against Oklahoma. It's going to be a double-digit win for Tennessee, and it might be a blowout. That's right. I think Tennessee might run Oklahoma out of its own building. Look, there are three strengths in this game, right? The Oklahoma defense, the Tennessee offense, and the Tennessee defense. What did I not say? The Oklahoma offense. They can't block. They can't run the football. And poor Jackson Arnold, while he's talented, really doesn't have a chance back there, especially against the Tennessee front 7 that is absolutely loaded, including with one of the best players in the sport, if not the best player in the sport, in James Pierce Jr. Look, Oklahoma fans, I know you're hyped up about this game. We had Chris Plank on earlier this week, and he talked about how this game has been talked about for a very long time, and I understand. And I picked Oklahoma to win this game preseason. But what we've seen from Tennessee has been about as eye-opening as what we've seen in college football in a long time. And I don't really care about the Josh Heupel, Oklahoma backstory, whatever. What I do care about is Tennessee can run the football. Tennessee can play defense. Those two things win you a ton of games. I did not mention Nico Iamaleava because I don't need to. Yeah, he's been good. He's been really good. Might be in line to go to New York as a Heisman Trophy finalist. That would not surprise me at all, by the way. But how do you win games? You run the ball and you play defense. And those are two things that Tennessee does better than most teams in all of college football. It's why Tennessee is, in my mind, a top 5 team. Now, Oklahoma fans, I know you're going to get mad, and I get it. You should be mad because I'm talking down your team. I do not think that this is a long-term problem for Oklahoma. I just think in this season, with the injuries to the offensive line, with the seemingly rotating door of players, you can't be successful game in and game out. It's all about matchups. And this is a terrible, terrible matchup for the Sooners. So Tennessee laid the 7. Special Friday game in the Friday 5. I bet we didn't think this would be a ranked-on-ranked matchup when this season started, but Illinois versus Nebraska over the 42.5. Matt Rule's going to take this opportunity to show off his shiny new toy. That new toy, of course, is Dylan Raiola. And look, we answered a question about Illinois earlier this week in fan Q&A. I love Brett Bielema. I love the style he plays. I don't trust Luke Altmaier to be a superstar. I think it's a little bit of a mirage, so to speak, in terms of what Illinois has done this year. Don't get me wrong. Should they be a top 25 team? Absolutely. So far. Are they going to stay there? Probably not. The schedule definitely is a problem, and it starts this week against Nebraska, a team that I think has figured out its identity. That identity starts with Dylan Raiola. He can run the ball. He can stretch the field. He is one of the superstars of the sport, and you're going to see that tonight. If you're watching. Now, I absolutely hate that NFL took Thursday nights away from college, but college took Friday nights away from high school football. So when you get back from your high school football game, check out Fox, check this game out, and see what happens. See how much you like Nebraska, because I guarantee you will. I guarantee you will. I love this Nebraska team. I think they absolutely light the scoreboard up on Illinois, and Illinois gets a little bit of theirs. So over 42.5, a really, really low total. Surprised by that, honestly. Okay, USC on the road, 5-point favorites against Michigan. USC is so much better than Michigan. Specifically because of its defense. Last year, the year before, I don't care who's playing quarterback for Michigan, this game would be a 60-point game. Not this year. USC, surprisingly, is fundamentally sound. Fundamentally sound? Yes. A Lincoln Riley defense. D'Anton Lynn has transformed this unit into a power. I truly believe that. Because, look, against anybody, USC's defense was a disaster last year. It's not anymore. If it's just middle of the road, that's fine. Especially against a Michigan team that made a quarterback change and that seemingly had problems all season long. In terms of getting open, in terms of blocking, in terms of everything. And I expect Miller Moss to re-announce himself to the world. Re-announce himself 3 weeks later for whatever it was from the LSU game. Lay in the 5 points. Very surprised it's not higher. There's not that much of a home field advantage at Michigan. There's a lot of people. It's not nearly as loud as it should be because it's so flat. It's not because you're not fans. It's not because you're not raucous. It's just because the sound does not stay in that place. So USC, lay the 5. Think you'll be all right there. Georgia Tech and Louisville. 57.5 is the total. I was absolutely floored when I saw this. 57.5. Take the under. Take the under with supreme confidence. Now, I'm sitting here telling you with 100% certainty that you should do this and you should do that. And I'm 6-9 in Friday 5 picks, but whatever. Louisville's defense has not given up a play of 30 yards or more all season. The only team in college football. Louisville's offense has not given up a passing play of 20 or more yards. One of 4 teams in college football not to allow that. So what is Georgia Tech going to do? They're going to try to grind it out, which is kind of what they want to do anyway. We know how Brent Key operates. He does not want, he wants big plays, obviously, but in a situation like this, on the road, he's going to want to slow things down, try to wear down Louisville's defense, and then hit a big play or two at opportune moments. And Louisville doesn't really need to be. Louisville's been awesome. You talk about a complete team that nobody's talking about. That's Louisville. They've been fantastic. But I don't think Louisville's going to do anything to jeopardize this game. Both teams want to play it close to the vest. I was floored when I saw 57.5. Absolutely floored. So take the under. I know unders. People don't like them. A lot of times they win. A lot of times they win. All right, last one. Will Billy Napier get Jimbo'd? Of course, that means winning at Mississippi State and then getting a pink slip the next morning. I don't know. But what I do know is that neither one of these teams is going to score an awful lot. 58.5. 58.5. Second straight game, we take the under. What is there to... How do you trust Mississippi State's offense? I don't know. I don't know how you can do that. I have no idea why you can look at that Mississippi State team and say, you know what? They're going to score some points against Florida's defense, which really isn't terrible. I know statistically we've seen, but it's not awful. And then the Graham Mertz, DJ Lagway rotating quarterback is going to suddenly help Florida's offense explode. Why? How? On what planet does that make sense? Not this one. So Florida, Mississippi State under the 58.5. To recap, Tennessee -7 at Oklahoma, Illinois, Nebraska over the 42.5, USC laying 5 at Michigan, Georgia Tech and Louisville under the 57.5, and Florida at Mississippi State under the 58.5. You can fade me if you want. In fact, that might be smart to do because 6-9 to start the season, not necessarily great. We will take a break when we come back. Future headlines is college football smothered and covered. And of course, we are powered by Locked On. All right, let's talk about Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 5% APY on uninvested cash. Receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are available only for $5 a month. The new gold standard is here. Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. That's robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. Okay, it's time for future headlines. What will be the headlines in the fictional newspapers coming up on Sunday morning? Fictional newspapers. Now, if you subscribe to a newspaper, I have a lot of friends who are capital J old school journalists. You should definitely get their newspapers, but this is a video. This is an audio form. We don't have actual newspapers, physical actual newspapers. But guess what we do have? We've got fancy, and I say fancy because they are about D+ level graphics on YouTube. The first one is Bye, 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 and we're not talking about a boy band. We're talking about Sunbelt Billy. Billy Napier will be gone as the Florida head coach on Monday morning. So maybe this is not on Sunday morning. So maybe this is not, I don't know, a Sunday morning newspaper headline. You know, I think that game's at night anyway. I don't know. That game's at noon. So maybe he does get fired on Saturday afternoon. But Bye, Bye, Bye is the headline. Florida has a bye week. See what I did there? Bye week. Wave goodbye on the bye week. That's when schools want to do this. But also, I think for Florida, you've kind of seen this coming for a while. We've heard about meetings being taking place behind the scenes and things like that this week. I believe there's some validity to that. And so this past week, Florida has been thinking about, okay, how do you do this? When do you do this? What's the blueprint moving forward? Because they are sort of the guinea pig in this world. Yes, we've seen Schools want to get out in front of coaching searches a little bit, so they let go of coaches quickly. We've seen coaches be hired during the end of the season. Jim Mora at UConn is one that jumps off the plate to me. But now with the 12-team playoff, Florida might be looking at somebody in that 12-team playoff to come to Gainesville, or they might be looking for somebody out of the 30 teams that are vying for the college football playoff in mid to late November. So getting your ducks in a row is very hard to do. But now, after going through all of this, and I think having made the decision already that Billy Napier will be gone. And I like Billy. I wish this wouldn't happen. But at this point, even if you beat Mississippi State and beat them bad, I think the hay's in the barn. Next headline. Now, for those of you who know me, you know I love PCU. Marvelous. It's Jake Busey's character in PCU. George Clinton is playing right here. Marvelous. Yeah. If you haven't seen PCU, go see PCU. Seriously, like tonight after Illinois, Nebraska. Marvelous. Tennessee with a dominating win over Oklahoma. They will further solidify themselves as one of the best teams in the country, perhaps even, dare I say, the best team in the country. Look, I'm not somebody who sticks to my rankings on a week-by-week basis, right? If you go to Norman and you knock around the Sooners, even if they're just a slightly above average SEC team, but if you knock around the Sooners in their first SEC game with all of that hype, that might be worth a number one ranking. I'm not saying it will be, but it could be. Either way, you will be looking at this game. You will be absolutely impressed with what you see, specifically from the Tennessee defense. That's been the strength of the team. It's the truth. I just did the Joe Biden whisper. I apologize for that. I truly do apologize for that. Tennessee, marvelous is the headline for the Vols. Okay, last one. Better late than never. Better late than never for Florida State. Those Florida State Seminoles, you get a win. I'm going all of the old school movies. If you see Men at Work, golf clap, golf clap. If you have not seen Men at Work with Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen, another one you have to check out. Homework, PCU, Men at Work. Got to do it. Better late than never. Florida State gets off the schneid. They beat Cal, and it's a pretty good Cal team. But to me, I think Florida State, this is a situation where they don't go 85 different directions. They come together to an extent. They play good defense. They might make a quarterback change. But this is the point where Mike Norvell stops trying to coach around DJ Uiagalelei and runs the dang ball and plays defense and not go through DJU. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be low scoring. But Florida State finally gets off the schneid. And I feel good for him. I like Mike Norvell. I really do. I think he deserves better than this. I think he screwed up. I think maybe ego got in the way, thinking that he could turn DJU into something that he's not. But at this point, I think he recognizes that can't continue going down this road. Let's fix things this weekend against Cal. We'll take a break. When we get back, debuting a new segment called Get Over It. Because there are some things in our college football world that have bothered me, and they need to change. And they need to change right now. It's college football smothered and covered. And of course, we are powered by Locked On. Show brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. That's the formula for winning championships. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you need, whether you're looking for anything burning rubber, not cash. That's what you do at eBay Motors. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available for United States customers. We're also brought to you by FanDuel. You've heard us talk a lot about it. It's America's #1 sports book. We have something a little different from you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out of market game. All you need is a Google account. Everybody's got one, and a current form of payment. You can cancel at any time. Just visit FanDuel.com and download America's #1 sportsbook. Get over it. Debuting this segment. Get over it. Now, we will always talk about something that needs to be addressed on the Monday show. Something that happened over the weekend, something that bothered us, anything, right? We're going into the weekend of college football, and there's still something that is bothering me from last week, and it has to do with this fella right here, Arch Manning. I can't even begin to tell you how annoyed I am with this Arch Manning talk. I told you on Monday, the amount of talking heads, the amount of casuals. As Josh Pate would say, my good friend Josh Pate, the amount of national analysts who don't pay attention to college football on an hour-to-hour basis, they're going to ask the question, did Quinn Ewers get Wally pipped? Did Quinn Ewers get Drew Bledsoed? Is this the time that Arch Manning becomes the starting quarterback of the Texas Longhorns? No, 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 no. 1,000 times no. Quinn Ewers is the starting quarterback for the Texas Longhorns. When he's healthy, he will come back. Texas has got a little bit of a buffer between now and the schedule really beefing up. So you can rest Quinn. I don't care what. He could throw for 11 billion touchdowns over the next couple of weeks. I do not care. Quinn Ewers is a Heisman Trophy favorite. He's a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback. He's led his team to the college football playoff. He's won by double digits at Alabama. There is no chance in hell that Arch Manning takes over for Quinn Ewers when Quinn is healthy. And you can tag Old Takes Exposed on that all day long. What's happening here, and I know a little bit about this because I've worked for a college football only website with college football news back in the day, 08 through 11. where SEO was not that big of a deal. I've worked for a startup in Bleacher Report when they hired full-time writers, a lot of SEO there. I've worked for CBS. I did 7 years there, a lot of SEO there. In this day and age, if you put the name Arch Manning or if you put the name Deion Sanders, the clicks just go bam, 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 bam. So what have we seen this week? We've seen everybody discuss everything about Arch Manning. He's not the starting quarterback of the Texas Longhorns. He will not be the full-time starting quarterback for the Texas Longhorns until Quinn Ewers is gone. So please, please, please get over it. And it's not going to happen because he's going to light up ULM. And we're going to have to deal with this nonsense for another week. That will do it for this edition of College Football Smothered and Covered, powered by Locked On. For your second listen, go check out Locked On College Football with Spencer McLaughlin. Does a great job getting you ready for the week as well. We will have a Saturday wrap-up show coming up Saturday night. There's not a lot of super late games, so look for it shortly before midnight. Until then, have a great Friday, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.